All right, people are, as I said, despondent, angry, ticked off, sad, depressed with the prospects of, well, actually with the idea of Donald Trump sitting in the White House. The last week has been quite interesting talking to various people, and so we said, you know what, let's break this thing down. So joining us right now is Kevin Washington. He, of course, is president of the Association of Black Psychologists. Kevin, glad to have you on the show. I was Dr. Jennifer Cottle, physician out of Philadelphia, tweeted this. She said the number of people in the aftermath of the election who came in with migraines and sickness. She said, what? There's nothing. It's not allergies. It's not like mold going on. She said, I mean, people have really been just in a state of depression with the idea of a Donald Trump being president.
Right. So the idea of the trauma being revealed to us about the dehumanization of black life has been proliferated right with this process. And so even for me, hearing a student complain to his teacher and ask his black student ask his white teacher that when we are slaves again, can I come stay at your house, speaks volumes to how deep this issue has resonated with black people, that issue of powerlessness.
But it's not just black folks. It's some depressed white folks.
Oh yes, a whole lot of folks depressed, right? So we have to be clear about what it really means, and it brings out this idea of, again, powerlessness, this despair, because he ran on this idea of racial ideology, and that galvanized a population, and so they understood that message more than anything else. We also understand that there's a loaded message around "Make America Great Again" or "Build a Wall" or those kind of things, and so we know that is coded language for the marginalization of a population that has experienced that for hundreds of years in this country.
And you also are seeing more than 200 racial-related attacks. Muslims have been reporting various attacks. African Americans, white kids going through the halls of various schools chanting white power or chanting "Build that Wall." Some teachers even telling Latino students Trump is going to send you back to Mexico.
Exactly.
I mean, you all of a sudden you're hearing. I mean, the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, they're working with others and compiling again all of these examples that are taking place. School administrators are talking about, and I personally heard from principals who said they are having to deal with students who are lashing out at African Americans, lashing out at Muslim students, lashing out at young girls.
And so even students in setting up a white-only and black-only water fountains,
posting the signs, yes.
Posting signs, right, and these things are happening all over. And so what do we do? That becomes the question, right? What do we do? How do we begin to resolve this issue? And so with the Black Psychologists, we are organizing forums around having discussions on activism, right? So we cannot lose the fact that we are resilient people, that we've overcome Jim Crow, overcome enslavement experiences, and that we move with that verve. We also understand that we know who we are. My grandmother said, always know who you is, right? And so we have to know who we are as a people and know that we have overcome it. So we're not succumbing to this ideology. We're actually finding the ways to strengthen, and I think that it's a good wake-up call.
So I got to ask this, and this is the question that I've gotten from students, a lot of different people that I know. I've personally dealt with my trauma by watching nothing but black movies all weekend and hanging out with my black friends. Okay, that was my self-care.
Or just watching TV One.
Yeah. Watching TV One. Here's the thing. What I am hearing from my students, what I am hearing from my friends is an intensified version of what happened after the Zimmerman verdict. People saying, my country hates me. How do I physically survive in a place that is now dangerous for me? So how does someone reconcile that when you live in a country where the president has basically said, the president-elect has said that killing people who look like you will not be a concern of mine? How do you handle that psychologically? What would you advise to people who are experiencing that?
Right, so that represents the distance that we've existed with in this country for years, right? So when you have dash cams and police brutality and lynching going on in this country for years, it's the same level of trauma that we've existed in, right? So it's not a post-trauma moment, it's a persistent, stable, systemic trauma moment. And so the reality is that, first of all, you must identify the truth. The truth is that ideology exists, and these are things that go on around in your space. Secondly, understand why they exist. And they exist not because of your weakness, but it exists because of your powerful nature, who you are as a person. And so when you do that, the third thing is that you become actively engaged in the process of as you did. You become immersed in who you are. You begin to move in that strength and not try to consider somebody else as to have power over you.
I have 60 seconds left, real quick. Avis, question and answer.
Sure. Part of what I do is work with companies around diversity and inclusion, and I've heard from clients around they're concerned about how to navigate the workplace right now. When you are in your office and people that you thought were your friends, people that you thought were cool, you're finding out now who they really are. How do you navigate that situation in a professional space?
Right, so now that is a moment of truth. And I heard quite a few people deal with the issue of office politics when everyone got quiet. They said that when there was the issue of Obama running, people talked about politics, but when it was Trump and Clinton, there was no discourse, and they knew what that meant. The silence meant that they were moving in a direction of racial ideology. And once we, again, identified clearly what they're moving in, the ideology never stopped. That they created enslavement. Then we can begin to move in that truth and say that here is how we help heal ourselves from the belief that somehow we've been included, and know that they have always come to us because of our power and strength.
Dr. Kevin Washington, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
King Lattimore is going to help us with some healing next with his Christmas album. He'll be back in 60 seconds. News 1 Now, TV 1.